and join us on our last chorus here. And here we are.
We have the power that comes from within. We have the power to heal any sin. We have the power to reach every goal. We have the power of spirit in our soul. We have the power.
We have the power.
We have the power.
We got the power.
We have the power.
We have the power.
We have the power.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Karen Allen. I'm a staff minister here at the center, and I am so pleased that you have decided to be with us this morning. So we're going to start, as we start everything around here, with prayer. So if you can go within and just know together that there is just one power, one presence, one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life right here and right now. And what I know is that this power is good. It is all good. It is all God. And that each one here is a divine expression of that one. And we are each glowing in its radiance and beauty and love. And so what I know is that this service unfolds in divine right order, that each one here is here on purpose. They're here to receive the gifts of this service by means of the message, the music, the fellowship. And each one here leaves here uplifted and absolutely filled with joy. And I'm just so grateful for this time together. I'm grateful for each beautiful soul here. And I simply let it go. I know it is done. And let's stay together. And so it is. Here at our center, this service and anything else here is not possible without our volunteers. So if you are one of the people that volunteers here, please stand. And I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. Let's give them a hand. And if our practitioners would remain standing, these people have been trained in the art and science of affirmative prayer, and you have the opportunity to make an appointment with one of these people if you'd like to have a better life, if you would like to improve the life you're having, or if you're moving through a challenge. These people are here to assist you. And on Sundays, it's our gift to you. We have a mini session. We will have 2 in the back of the room and 1 in the tranquility room. And if those people would remain standing. So we have Darylyn Fenley and Hans Smith, and in the back holding the high watch is Anita Baraldi. And to join me on the platform for announcements is Kimberly Waldridge.
Good morning. Today, you could stay for a light lunch after the service and join us for Conscious Connections Plus, where we get to connect with a small group and discuss the topic of the week. Then on Wednesday, our Wednesday's Wisdom service this week will feature our own ministers and is entitled, What is Your Question? We Have Answers. Come at 7 o'clock and get your answers to those burning questions.
And this Wednesday is our first community stretching session, and it is Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. And we're just going to have a good time stretching our muscles, releasing tension, and connecting with one another. So wear comfortable clothing and bring either a towel or a yoga mat, and it's $10 per session. And the Beyond Limits classes have begun. They are Tuesday morning and Tuesday evening, and there are still spots available. You can sign up on the kiosk. There are 9 classes still left, so if that's something you're interested in, please sign up.
Our annual holiday boutique is coming up on Sunday, December the 7th. If you have some creative items that you make and would like to display and sell, now is the time to start working on them. There's a sign-up sheet on the kiosk. And the next men's group is on Tuesday, October 20th at 7 p.m. And the next women's group meets on Friday, November 7th at 7 p.m.
Now the Mexico World Orphan Choir. While Mary gets the video ready, I just wanted to let you know that they're going to be here at the center on Friday, October 24th at 7 to give us a concert. And there's a little clip she's going to show us of the children, and you don't want to miss this. So is it ready, Mary?
Despierta mundo.
They're going to be here, right here. So you don't want to miss that. Mark that on your calendars. And also, we are still looking for host homes for these kids and their chaperones. And if you're interested, please see me after the service. And this week's flowers, yay! They're here. They're for our beloved office manager, Diane Hennessy, for all that she does around here. Yay, Diane. Please take your announcements home. They're on the inside of your program. And now Kimberly's going to read our affirmation.
The path of blessing is one of freedom and ease. I trust the flow of faith in my life now, which is gentle and graceful. Letting go of any need to make something happen, I invite Spirit to guide and direct me. It is done now. And if you'll join me. The path of blessing is one of freedom and ease. I trust the flow of faith in my life now, which is gentle and graceful. Letting go of any need to make something happen, I invite Spirit to guide and direct me. It is done now, and so it is.
Thank you, Kimberly. And now I'd like to introduce again Debbie Wheeler. Please welcome her.
Any day here is a great day to thank God just for being God. Not praying for the mountains and skies above, praying not for the treasures that many love, praying not for the healing of my heart, not praying for my peace of mind to start. But this prayer of prayers that now I pray is giving thanks to God for being God today. Thank God for being God. Thank God for being God today. Thank God for being God. Thank God for being God today. Used to pray for my daily needs. I asked the Lord, oh, hear my plea. Prayed once when I lost my hope. Even asked the Lord to help me cope. But this prayer of prayers that now I pray is giving thanks to God for being God today. Thank God for being God. Thank God for being God today. Thank God for being God. Thank God for being God today. There is a plan for every woman and man. This truth is known from land to land. But still we say to have things this way, that way, his way, her way, your way, my way. Oh, but God's way is the way. When our way is God's way, then we pray to let God be God in life today. Yay, yay, thank God for being God. Thank God for being God today. Thank God for being God. Thank God for being God today. Thank God.
I forgot my job. Please welcome our Reverend Heather Dawn Clark.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Debbie. It's always so good to hear you. So speaking of forgetting, So last week, if you were here, you know I had real difficulty with this, getting this thing turned on. Well, that's because I was holding it upside down, and I was trying to get it on something else that whose purpose I do not know. But anyway, so let's see. Yes, there we go. Living abundantly, love circles of connection and community. So, and today's message is path of blessings. And we, even in for our meditation, Mary had chosen a wonderful path. And if you think about your life is a path of blessings. It is a path of blessings, and those blessings might be obvious to you, or they may not be so obvious. They may be so obvious, like, oh yes, that was abundance, that was love, that was creativity, that was wonderful. Or it may be that path was heartache or a disease or a divorce, and or some other thing, but it became, when you look back upon it, part of your blessings. Because one of the things is every single thing that any one of us have experienced got you to here. You're here now, just the way you are and just the way you are not, because of every single thing that has happened through you and to you. So here's the thing about a path is usually, whether it's through a forest or this really cool one that's on rocks, you don't see the whole thing. You don't see the whole thing, but you trust that if wherever you are on your path is the right place for you to be, and you take the next step, and then you take the next step, and then you take the next step. So, what are your deepest desires? Because those deepest desires become your abundance. And if this is about living abundantly, I know for most of us, our deepest desires include belonging. Sometimes we think that means fitting in, but it doesn't at all. Because if you've just been fitting in, you probably don't feel like you belong at all. You know, I have another picture of a cat looking in a mirror, a kitten looking in a mirror and seeing a lion. And that's a good thing for the vision. But what I love about this is the kitty is seeing the kitty. She's seeing herself, or he's seeing himself exactly how he is right now. Not a future self, a present self. We have to start where we are. We start where we are on this path of blessings. And Oprah says this: if you look at what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. So if you look at what you have, and especially with gratitude, you'll have more of that thing. If you look what you don't have, what you're saying, there's something missing in my life, and there's nothing missing. You have enough, you are enough, there's nothing missing on your path. It's exactly the right path for you to be blessed. God is your constant companion on this path. You can't separate yourself from this one. Thank God for being God, because this one that God is divine presence. It's always guiding us. If we listen, we get still, we'll hear God's voice saying this. It always starts with, I love you, my beloved. For it is a voice of love. That's the nature of the divine. And it operates through an absolutely immaculate law. It operates through an absolute perfect way of being, which is simply that what you believe becomes your experience. So on this, if you keep looking at what you don't have, then more opportunity to see it will come. Ernest Holmes said this: our subjective self is the immediate connection between the absolute and the relative, and why that is important is how this thing works is through the subjective or subconscious mind. the part of God that's law or principle. It works through us. Doesn't work um, around, well, it works around us also, but it works through us, through our beliefs, through what it is that we believe. And of course, we want connection with others. I showed you that one last week too. And in community. So, oh, I don't know if Mary's doing it or if I'm doing it. You're doing it? Okay. I'll let you know when I want to turn then. Pardon? This is where I want you. Okay. So in relationships, sometimes what we are erecting in relationships are fences. And sometimes those fences are to keep others out. There's a really good teaching tool to use regarding fences. A father, his son was really being expressive. He was really being expressive, and his expression was he was cursing and he was calling people names, and the father said, "Son, I'm going to give you a bag of nails and a hammer, and see the fence out there. I want you to, for every curse word, for everything you've said about someone else, hammer a nail into that fence." And the boy did. And then the father said, "Okay, son, you've got them all. Now take the hammer claw and take them all out." And the boy did. And he said, "Daddy, what was that for?" He said, "Well, look at the fence then. It's just like a word of anger. Whatever you've said, even though you've taken it back, you've said you're sorry, there's still a hole in the fence." Such a good thing to remember. Our words are so important. Our words are either a blessing or a curse to those around us. So there's a story. I know in families, there are several people in our community have family businesses. And I know in family businesses, sometimes there are issues. I know that certainly I have my nephews run a farm together. And they didn't have many issues until they both were married. And their wives do not see eye to eye on just about anything. And there are issues now. So this is a story not about my nephews, but about someone else. That these farmers were, the two brothers were just having a terrible time, and it escalated so they were barely talking to one another, and their houses were quite close together in the same area, the same farm area. And the younger brother, got a bulldozer and bulldozed the river, so a creek ran through now, so there was a creek separating them. And the older brother was really angry, and he had a pile of lumber, and a workman came and he said, "Do you have any odd jobs for me? I'm a really good carpenter." And, "Well, as a matter of fact, I do. I want to build an 8-foot fence so I never have to see that man again." And so the workman said, "Very well, I can do that. It'll take me all day." And the man said, well, he had some things to do, so he left and went and did the things. And when he came back, he was surprised to see instead of a fence, a bridge. And he was going to tell the workman that he didn't. Next one, please, Mary. He didn't want a bridge. He wanted a fence. And then he saw his brother coming toward him on the bridge, and the brother said, "After all I said about you, after all the things I said that you would build a bridge between our two properties, I am so grateful." And they embraced. So the workman said, "Okay, I'm ready to go." And the man said, "But I've got other jobs for you to do." He said, "Oh no, there are other bridges to build." He was really a bridge builder. And I wonder, isn't that a great thing for us to think about? Are we bridge builders? Or are we fence builders? Do we build bridges of connection amongst ourselves and our friends? Do we do we do we let these blessings of friendship into our life? I heard something. I've heard it before. Next slide, please, Mary. Next slide, Mary. This story, many of you have heard this story. This is an, a retired female elephant who was very lonely. And she was put in a place for retired elephants. Did you know that there's a place where they can go, these retired elephants? And this dog befriended her. And they're best friends. Their friends, their friendship isn't because they are the same. You don't have to be the same as the people that you love. You can just simply love them. I heard this statistic the other day, and you know, the first idea about belonging comes from Brené Brown, and I've got a quote from her. Next slide, please. It might be later, so it might be. Never mind. Go back. Okay, we'll stay there. So, what Brené Brown is saying that if you really want to belong, if you want a sense of belonging and love, then you need to be vulnerable. She's a shame researcher, and what she says is you can't really connect if you're connecting in a superficial way where only what is seen is your the greatness about you, the good things about you. And then I heard this statistic, and I think this is so interesting. So much of our time, collectively as society, not you people here, not me, of course, ha ha ha, but so much of society spends so much of our time and money trying to fit in, trying to be acceptable, having the right clothes, the right look, the right smells, the right words, etc., trying to fit in. And in that sense of perfectionism rather than uniqueness, we actually keep other people out. And the statistic I heard was no matter who you are, about 25% of the population aren't going to like you. Now, they're probably not here, right? Well, 25% are not going to like you. Another 25% aren't going to like you, but they can be persuaded to like you. The next 25% kind of like you, but they could be persuaded not to like you. And the top 25% just like you. Like this dog and elephant will be your friend no matter what, whether you look the same or not. So the path of blessing, now next slide, is one that is filled with gratitude for absolutely everything in your life. So gratitude for the people, gratitude for the experiences, gratitude for the opportunities. Next slide, please. I quoted this last week, and September asked me who wrote it. So it's Edwin Markham. And it's such a good thing to remember. I drew a circle that shut me out. He drew a circle that shut me out. Well, that was a Freudian slip because truth is, no one can draw a circle that shuts me out. I might think you did it, but I did it. Heretic, rebel, a thing to flout, but love and I had wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. So are you willing to draw a bigger circle? Are you willing to include more in your life? It will by far be a more blessed life. Next slide, please. There's a wonderful story that I think it might be Thai, and some of you might have actually seen this Buddha. But here's what happened is that centuries ago, this gold Buddha, pure gold Buddha, was there were wars, and the monks in this little where do monks live? Yeah. monastery, the monks of this monastery, thank you, monks of this monastery covered this gold Buddha with mud. And it just looked like clay. It didn't look like anything. And all of those monks were killed in one of the uprisings, and no one remembered that this was a gold Buddha. And so years went by, and it really had no value except for its religious value of reminding them all of the tenets of Buddhism. And then they were moving the whole monastery, and so they uplifted this clay Buddha, and they were going to haul it. And in the first leg of the hauling, there was a crack in it. And one of the monks saw the crack, and he was going to repair it with clay, of course. They thought it was clay. And he looked and he saw it was gold in there. And so he chipped away all of the clay. And here's this pure gold Buddha, this pure gold Buddha. And I think that's us on our path of blessings. We are the gold Buddha. The presence of God in us is the gold Buddha. But we forget. We get hurt. We lose something. We experience a disease or whatever it is. And instead of experiencing the greatness and the beauty and the connection with others, instead of letting our light shine and be that gold Buddha, we let ourselves be covered over with clay. If your heart is covered over with clay, chances are you can't open it. One of the things about the whole purpose of October is for us to go a little deeper into our spiritual practices. So today, after service, please join us for some salad and a sandwich and friendship, just some conversation. And then stay and connect with some of the other people in our community. Get to know them. Get to know each other. It's one of the greatest aspects of wealth that we have. Other people. Our sense of belonging, our sense of connection, our experience of community. So it's an opportunity for us to sit and chat about some spiritual ideas. It's an opportunity to tell the truth and be a little vulnerable if you want. There'll be no questions asked that would embarrass you. Well, I can't guarantee that, because I told the practitioners they could intuitively ask whatever they wanted, but I didn't write any questions that would be embarrassing. But it is a great opportunity to connect with like-minded people. And remember, a quarter of them aren't going to like you. And it's okay. It's okay. To me, that's the most freeing statistic I've ever heard. I don't have to try to get everybody to love me or like me or appreciate me. There are tons of other spiritual centers. I need to love me. Remember the little kitten looking in the mirror, seeing herself, himself, just the way it is. Just the way it is. Just the way it is not. So this is a path of blessings. Stop. Be thankful. Be thankful for all the good on your path already. Connect with like-minded people. Here's what I know. When you take a class or in a discussion group, you get to connect in a vulnerable way, in a way that allows you to say, no, I don't agree with that. Or, man, that's a really confusing idea. I don't know if I understand it. And all the other people in the class have agreed to make it a safe place for you to say what you think and to be who you are. Okay, so take a class. Stop and check this out. Connect with others. One of the things that we've been doing this October is we've been encouraging people to make a pledge to our center. And Reverend Judy's going to talk about it a lot on the last Sunday. So I'm going to just mention there's a treasure chest inside the door on the marble table. And if you haven't already made a pledge and you are a member of our center, I encourage you to make a pledge. That just means here is my commitment of what I intend, how I intend to support this center for next year, beginning in 2015. We can't do it without you. We cannot do it without you. So I give thanks in advance for all the pledges that have been given. We already started a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't mention it last week, and I wanted to mention it every Sunday just so that you knew that was going on. I wasn't leaving Judy out to dry, hang her out to dry by herself. Like, where did this come from? So it's part of what we do in October is getting ready for the following year. All right, so Path of Blessings. This week I have had such a huge amount of blessings. Number one, I told you I was going to take 2 days off, and for the first time, not only did I take them off, but I played both days. And it was so much fun. Thank you. It was really, really good. So because I don't post to Facebook, I'd love you all to just get out your smartphones and tell everybody in the world where you are right now and what a good time you're having. But if that's not who you are, don't do it. But anyway, I didn't do it. One of the things that we did on Friday night, a group of us went to the Magic Castle. Who's been there? Anybody been there? Oh my goodness. I was just blown over. It was so much fun. Those magicians, and it was women's week. And so all of the magicians, except for the ones that did the small tables, were women. And that was really good. One of the best ones had all of these white doves appear from, she had these tight pants on, so it couldn't have been in her pants. They just appeared, and about 6 doves just came and came and came. And another one would come. It was just wonderful. And we were sitting around, we were standing around a table while others were sitting. A very seasoned magician was doing some card tricks. And he happened to be telling about this card trick. He said it was Frank Sinatra's favorite trick. This guy had been around a while, and he first did it for Nancy's 14th birthday. I can't even explain what happens. Something's there, and then it's not there. It disappears. It goes. A rope is tied around a pencil, and seems to go through it. All of you would-be magicians can tell me later, but I actually love the illusion. I love the illusion. I know it's magic. It's not truth. It's fiction, but it's so much fun. So I had a lot of fun, and that blessings on the path includes laughter, includes fun. To take yourself lightly and let yourself fly. So I think that's the last. Yes, it is. And so it is. Okay. Thank you so much. Now we're going to pray.